Weeks passed after that strange conversation. Chidi became exceptionally busy. His mansion stood completed, gleaming white walls, expensive tiles, golden gates. He organized an elaborate housewarming, inviting half of Akperi. Ngozi attended proudly, smiling for photographs, accepting congratulations as the successful man's girlfriend. Yet beneath her happiness, anxiety gnawed at her peace. The disappearances continued. Every 3 months, like clockwork, another youth vanished. The pattern was now undeniable. People whispered in the market, in church, at the motor park. But nobody dared speak openly. Chidi was too powerful, too generous, too beloved. Still, Ngozi couldn't shake her unease. There were days his eyes looked wrong, dark, empty, almost reptilian. Nights when he'd stare into nothing, listening to something she couldn't hear. One Wednesday afternoon, everything changed. Ngozi decided to visit Chidi's house unannounced. He had mentioned traveling to Onitsha for business, but she had spotted his distinctive Honda parked at his residence while passing on a motorcycle taxi. Confused and suspicious, she decided to investigate. The gate stood partially open, unusual for someone supposedly traveling. The compound was eerily silent. Ngozi walked through the spacious living room, calling his name softly. No response. Then she heard it. A sound from the rear of the house. Something bubbling steadily, like a large pot simmering on intense heat. She followed the sound, her heartbeat accelerating with each step, instinct screaming warnings her conscious mind tried to suppress. When she gently pushed the kitchen door open, what she witnessed paralyzed her completely. Chidi stood hunched over an industrial-sized table. Before him sat the small amber bottle, half filled with that mysterious crimson liquid she'd seen him guard so jealously. On the counter lay chunks of raw meat, freshly chopped into irregular pieces. But the meat looked fundamentally wrong. The texture, the visible veins, the unusual color, the shape of the flesh. Everything about it suggested human origin rather than animal. Ngozi's breath caught in her throat. Her hands began trembling uncontrollably. As she watched in frozen horror, Chidi unscrewed the amber bottle. He poured the thick red liquid into a large mixing bowl containing his signature marinade. The liquid was dark, almost black, with a consistency too thick to be any cooking oil she'd ever seen. He began to hum. Not a song. Something else. A ritualistic chant, discordant and ancient-sounding. He stirred the mixture with methodical precision, his movements almost trance-like. The meat on the counter, that wrong, terrible meat, sat waiting to be added to the bowl. Ngozi's mind screamed to her to run, but her body refused to obey. She stood frozen, watching the man she loved prepare something unspeakable. Then she saw it clearly. On the cutting board, a piece of the meat showed unmistakable features. Fingers. Human fingers, severed and waiting to be ground into his special recipe. A gasp escaped her lips before she could stop it. The sound shattered the kitchen's terrible silence like breaking glass. Chidi spun around with unnatural speed, the spoon still dripping red liquid in his hand. Their eyes locked. For one suspended moment, the entire universe seemed to hold its breath. His face showed no surprise, no fear, just a cold, calculating assessment, as if deciding what to do with a witness to his secret. Ngozi saw something move behind his eyes, something that wasn't quite human anymore. Then her scream erupted from the deepest place of terror within her soul. Aha! The scream pierced the afternoon quiet, echoing through the street with such raw intensity that nearby residents dropped everything they were doing. Ngozi's legs finally obeyed. She bolted from the kitchen, through the living room, out the gate, her voice breaking as she screamed incoherently. He's using people. Chidi don't kill people. The Suya get human meat inside. He's been feeding us human beings. He's been feeding us our own children.